Another thing that newborns will do is scratch themselves. I have seen this a lot in the nursery. I've seen it with even my own children. Whenever a child's hands are free to roam, the first thing they do is reach up for their forehead, and you start to wonder how those tiny little hands and fragile nails can cause so much damage to themselves. Hello moms and dads all over the world. Welcome back to Nurseonyiteaches. My name is Onyinye, and today I will be discussing some of the benefits of swaddling your newborn. But before I jump into today's video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you are made aware of every time I upload a video. Now, a lot of people wonder why they need to swaddle a newborn. They think that because a baby has been born, it needs to quickly adjust to the external environment. And while a baby does need to adjust, its adjustment needs to be paced by a parent. Remember that many of the actions a baby will do are not regulated. So when you swaddle your baby, you aid your baby with transitioning into the extrauterine environment from the intrauterine environment. And we'll talk about some of those benefits right now. Number one, it mimics human touch. Swaddling helps your baby feel like somebody is holding them right then and there. It is really important when a baby is first born to communicate warmth and comfort to that baby. And babies thrive on human touch. Unfortunately, if you constantly hold your baby, chances are you will not be able to do a lot of the things that you need to accomplish in a day, like, taking a shower, eating your food, taking your medicine because you are hurting. So if you take your baby and you swaddle this baby, you continue to communicate the sense of human touch to this child without being directly there hovering over the baby. And your baby is happy for it. It's a win-win. Secondly, it can help with your baby's temperature regulation. When babies are first born, because they are so compact, it is easy for them to overheat, and it's also easy for them to lose temperature. They can become cold very quickly. But when you wrap your baby with a light blanket, it helps your baby's limbs stay closer to the trunk so that their body's temperature on the outside of them matches the internal environment for the baby. It also helps with keeping your baby's core temperature stable, because if they're open to the environment and they cannot regulate their temperature effectively, then they are giving off heat a lot faster than they are able to regenerate and retain it. You can also dress your baby warm if you don't want to use the swaddling method. But if you swaddle your baby, then you don't have to put heavy clothing on them, which tends to generate heat and overheat the baby. You can just put a regular onesie or nice layette on the child and use a light blanket to wrap the baby. That way those two layers suffice as garment, and yet the baby is nice and snug and cozy. Another benefit of wrapping your baby is a significant decrease in the startle reflex. If you give birth, or if you've just recently given birth, or you're a mother of many babies, the one thing you will notice with all newborns is that they tend to startle. They jump at the very slightest stimulus. That's because they are in a noisier environment. In the womb, they have water there to kind of shield and help sound bounce off in a more controlled way. But when they come out here, if you drop keys, it causes them to jump. If any kind of movement occurs in their immediate environment, the baby startles. Well, a startled baby may cry. It will wake this child up. And if your baby is crying or is awake, they're not getting sufficient amount of rest to help them manage being a newborn. You want your baby to get the right amount of rest. Believe it or not, when your baby is resting, its brain is growing. It's still interacting with the environment, but it's doing it in a controlled manner. So when you wrap your baby, even when you drop a set of keys and they try to startle, the warmth and coziness of that blanket keeps them from throwing their limbs out to nowhere and waking themselves up. Even if they startle, like I said, it kind of contains that startle reflex and helps the baby to fall back asleep so that the rest can be more meaningful for both you and your baby. Because if your baby keeps waking up, it's going to be difficult for you to get any kind of rest. And they say sleep when your baby is sleeping. So wrap your baby up so that you too can catch a little bit of shut eye, okay? Another thing that newborns will do is scratch themselves. I have seen this a lot in the nursery. I've seen it with even my own children. Whenever a child's hands are free to roam, the first thing they do is reach up for their forehead, and you start to wonder how those tiny little hands and fragile nails can cause so much damage to themselves. When you swaddle your baby, what you do is take their hands and contain it so that they're not reaching up because they're not controlling their movements and scratching themselves. You limit the amount of injury your baby suffers, and you help them be happier, right? And like I previously mentioned, when your baby is wrapped and nice and cozy and warm, they sleep longer, they sleep sounder, and they wake up a lot more refreshed. Now, this does not mean that you're supposed to take your newborn and wrap this baby so that this baby can sleep for 12 hours. No, your baby still needs to be waking up to eat if the baby oversleeps its mealtime. A lot of babies will wake up to let you know that it's time to eat. No amount of swaddling will keep a determined newborn from eating, so don't worry too much about a baby starving in its sleep. Some children, though, you need to kind of get them awake and alert, and they'll feed just fine. If your baby is well rested, your baby tends to feed better. Imagine a baby who has not slept because the poor thing is cranky, has not been loved up on, has not been swaddled, and the baby is just at its own wit's end but cannot explain to you what the problem is. It makes nursing more difficult. You end up with a baby that is a lot more fussy, where if you just wrap this baby, all of that can be contained. So wrap your baby. All of these benefits, mimicking human touch, regulating the baby's temperature, limiting scratching and the startle reflex, all of them add up together to give you one happy baby. And a happy baby, believe me, is a happy mom. I hope you have found some value in this video. If you have, don't forget to share it with somebody who can also benefit from its content. Make sure you subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that you are made aware of every time I upload a video. I wish you success in your parenting, and if you have not given birth already, I wish you a safe, healthy, and happy pregnancy. Until the next time, be blessed.